Hi, this is Dr. Worrell, and I want to welcome you all to the Anatomy and Physiology lecture. This is your course orientation video. This video will provide you with details regarding the course and information on how to get started in the course. Please make sure to watch until the end of the video so that you get all the required information that you need to know. Again, my name is Dr. Worrell, or you can call me Dr. Theo. My preferred methods of communication are Canvas messaging, which is available to you in your Canvas site, or school email. These are the only two means of official communication. You have my school email address listed here for you, and you'll also have this in the syllabus addendum as well as the course site. I will post my office hours to your Canvas site once those are finalized. If you need to schedule an appointment with me during office hours or outside of office hours, please make an appointment. You can use the ConnexED system to make an appointment. The link for ConnexED is located on the home page of your Canvas site, and I've also provided the link here in this slide. Next, let's discuss getting started in the course. The very first module that you should address when you log into Canvas will be the Start Here module. You must complete all requirements of the Start Here module in order to gain full access to the course site. This means that you must watch all required videos. You must view or read all required documents. You must complete the agreement form. This agreement form is a series of statements regarding my expectations of you all as students in the course. You must submit the communication log. This simply requires you to submit an email address that you regularly check. I do not use this email address unless I'm having difficulty contacting you via Canvas or your school email address. You must submit the syllabus addendum quiz. This quiz will require you to use the Respondus Lockdown browser. If any item is not completed, you will not gain full access to the course site. The remaining modules will remain locked, and failure to unlock the modules will not be an excuse or a reason for makeup work. When you are trying to figure out if you've completed the requirements of the Start Here module, you can utilize a few different indicators from the Canvas site to help you understand if you've done it. Here, on the left, you can see that I've circled for you the Start Here module. So that's the module that you want to be working in. To the right, you'll notice that there's a red circle around the link that says complete all items. This will let you know if you have completed all items. If you have done so, it will not say complete all items, it will say completed. In other words, it will let you know that you've done them all. Next, as you're looking at each individual item, you can simply look below it and it'll say words like view. If it says view, that is something that you must view. Once you viewed it, instead of saying view, it will say viewed. You will also get a little green check mark over here on the right-hand side. This will let you know that you've completed that requirement. Well, while you're in the Start Here module, it will be your responsibility to make sure that you read all course documents. It's your responsibility as well to make sure you understand all the course policies that are laid out in those documents. You want to pay special attention to the syllabus addendum, as there are multiple policies there. And by completing the Start Here module, you will be acknowledging that you understand these policies. When it comes to the syllabus addendum quiz, you will have 2 attempts to complete this and get a 100 score. You are allowed to use a copy of the syllabus addendum to complete this quiz. Since this requires you to use the Respondus Lockdown browser, you must show a photo ID during the setup. If you do not, you will have to complete this syllabus addendum quiz again. This is required because this is how I will verify your identity for the college purposes. Now, let's talk about the individual assignments in the course. First, we have your adaptive assignments. These adaptive assignments count as 10% of your total grade. They must be completed by their due date. There are no makeup adaptive assignments. They do not have to be completed all in one sitting. What this means is that you can start and then come back later to finish these assignments. The score will update as you work toward completion. You should keep working on those adaptive assignments until a score of 100 is achieved. At the end of the course, I will drop at least one of the lowest adaptive assignment scores. This is why I do not do any makeup assignments for the adaptive assignments. If you miss one, it will enter the gradebook as a 0. However, that would then have to count as your dropped assignment. The adaptive assignments are truly meant to help you reinforce your understanding of the material. From my perspective, I really consider them as a method of doing homework. Next, we'll address the quizzes. The quiz average is 10% of your total grade. Again, these must be completed by their due date. There will be no makeup quiz assignments. The quizzes that is, have to be completed in one sitting. You are not allowed to start and then come back later to finish a quiz. The quizzes may be timed, so please make sure to read all of the directions at the beginning of the quiz. This way you will know the parameters for those quizzes. At the end of the course, I will drop at least one of the lowest quiz grades. This again is why you do not have any makeup quizzes. You will have your lowest quiz grade dropped. Next, we have your lecture exams. These will count as 55% of your total grade. You have 4 lecture exams in total. The average of those is what will ultimately count as 55% of your total grade. Face-to-face classes will take all exams in person. I will give you more details regarding that process in our class meetings. Online classes will utilize the Respondus Lockdown browser for their exams. I will give you more details on how to use the Respondus Lockdown browser in subsequent announcements. Typically, my exams are 50 questions, multiple choice, with a 1-hour time limit. No exam grades will be dropped. All exam grades count. You can check your syllabus addendum to see the breakdown of the chapters that are included with each exam, and you can see your course schedule for the dates of those exams. My makeup exam policy. Makeup exams are given at my discretion. In other words, that means that you are not guaranteed to be allowed to take a makeup exam. I only give makeup exams due to extreme situations. The 3 primary examples being jury duty, hospitalization, or death in the family. In order to have a makeup exam considered, you must provide documentation of the reason within 24 hours of the missed exam. All makeup exams should be taken within 48 hours, if possible. If an exam is missed, or if a makeup exam is missed, then a 0 will be entered for that particular assignment. This slide will address the usage of Respondus Lockdown browser. Again, online students are required to use Respondus Lockdown browser. For face-to-face students, you will be taking your exams in person, so this does not apply as much to you unless for some reason the college is switches and I'm required to give you exams in an online format. You must use the Respondus Lockdown browser correctly in order to have your exam score validated. This means that your workspace must be visible at all times during the exam. I will be providing you examples of how to do this at a later point. But essentially, this means that just having your face within the frame of view of the camera will not be sufficient enough. You must show your workspace. This means the area where your keyboard or your hands are located during the exam. Again, I will be providing you with more information and directions on how to do this if you are in an online course. Again, face-to-face classes will not use this, so this doesn't apply to you as much. When I go back to look at the videos, I determine that there are irregularities during the video, I will contact you. If the irregularity is severe enough, it may result in you having to retest in person or through Zoom proctoring. If you are warned about an irregularity and it continues and occurs again, then that irregularity will be considered a testing violation, and a grade of 0 will be given with no opportunity for a retest. The final exam in the course counts as 25% of the total grade. You will get announcements regarding the date and time of the final exam, but please check your course schedule for that date and time. The final exam is comprehensive, so it covers all material throughout the course. It consists of 100 multiple choice questions that have a 2-hour time limit. Due to timing considerations, there are no makeup final exams that can be given. It's due to the fact that this occurs at the end of the semester when there really is no time to try to make up any work. When it comes to your grades in this course, I utilize the Canvas gradebook. This will calculate your up-to-date average based on the work that you've done thus far in the course. So essentially, you don't have to do any calculations when it comes to figuring out your grade. Just simply go to the grades area of Canvas and you will be able to see your total percentage based on the work that you've done. This average is usually accurate. However, there are certain scenarios in which it may not be completely accurate. This is because quizzes usually default to the grade of a 0 until after the due date. So if it's before the due date of a quiz, you may have a 0, but that will update once the due date for the quiz passes. And any assignments that are not completed or that are missed, I have to manually enter a 0. So until that's accomplished, the score is not technically official, but again, it will be really close as long as you're completing the work on time. You can use the what if function to see how scoring a particular score on an item will affect your grade. If you want more information about how to utilize the what if function, please see the grade notifications area of your Canvas site. Here we have the breakdown of the percentages in the class. Again, 10% adaptive assignments, 10% quiz average, 55% lecture exam average, and 25% final exam. Next, let's discuss quickly here how you can access the electronic version of your textbook. When you're in your Canvas site, you'll want to start by clicking the link that says Wiley Course Resources located in the left-hand navigation menu. I've circled that for you on the image here. When you click Wiley Course Resources, a new tab will open. On this new tab, you want to click Launch. The launch link that you want to click will be located below the line that says Wiley plus e-textbook. Once you click launch, the e-text will open in a new tab. This is how you will access the electronic version of your textbook. In the modules area, you will see that each chapter module contains several items. These include chapter PowerPoint presentations, chapter learning objectives, chapter lecture notes or a lecture outline, as well as the lecture recordings. If you're in a face-to-face class, you can print out the slides from the PowerPoint presentation to bring with you. However, occasionally in the PowerPoint presentations, you will see a black background for some slides. Those slides with a black background are intended for independent study. What this means is that I will not lecture over that material. It is your responsibility to either read that material or listen to recordings that address that material if available. Again, I will not lecture over the material in the slides with a black background. That material you are still responsible for, but it is up to you to cover that material by reading the text, reading the lecture notes, or using available recordings. The chapter learning objectives are essentially a chapter-by-chapter study guide for the course. You should write down your responses to these learning objectives. This allows you to essentially create your own note set. You can use information from the text, the lectures, the notes, the recordings, wherever you get those answers, you can use it. You should work on these daily and not wait until the night before the exam to try to complete these. If you have questions about learning objectives, please feel free to contact me and I will try to address those. Lastly here, when it comes to the chapter lecture recordings, these links will be found in the chapter modules. They will take you to a YouTube playlist for that chapter. This is where you can hear me discuss the information within that chapter. I typically break the chapter information up by topic, so you do not have to listen to one long, continuous 3-hour lecture, for example. You can listen to a 5-minute or a 10-minute or a 15-minute lecture instead. I may not discuss all topics. Again, independent study material usually is not included in my recordings. So please make sure that you take advantage of the lecture recordings, especially if you're in the online class. I expect you all to listen to those lecture recordings in order to gain that information. I will usually suggest a time frame in which you should listen to certain recordings to try to keep you on pace, but ultimately it is up to you to determine the pace at which you move. That's the conclusion of the course orientation video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. For those of you all in an online course, I will try to set up a Q&A session so that you guys can get feedback, so that you can answer questions in real time if you do have those. So please be on the lookout for that link. For those of you all in the face-to-face class, I'll address any questions during our class meetings, typically our first class meeting. Thanks for listening, and if you have questions, you can always feel free to email me.